Hey everyone, Chloe here and welcome back to another video and welcome back to this feminine platform and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new here, ladies and lurkers and ear hustlers, welcome. So I wanted to create a how did we get here historical context feminine school video that educationally I feel would help a lot of women to both unpack and to understand the power that grooming and the power that mainstream media influence can have on our long-term lifestyle choices and on our decision making. Now, ultimately, aside from social media, our greatest influences are the people that we see every day. And these are the people who raised us, right? And for my younger listeners, the people who are currently raising you. And this is our family of origin, right? Our parents, grandparents, and extended relatives. And of course, the person who raised you is your biggest teacher. And whether white or black, if you grew up in a toxic family dynamic, or you are lacking a feminine role model, or for the men, if you are lacking a masculine role model, chances are you will become an adult who will ultimately need a lot of course correction, especially if it's your desire to become a wife or a provider husband. And yes, to be a wife or to be a husband is a relationship skill set. But what happens to a man or a woman when they are not taught the importance of knowing how to be a wife or how to be a husband? Now, because this platform addresses the needs of women from a Black woman's perspective, I think that it is very crucial to talk about the hows, because knowing how we got here is just as important as solving it. The facts are modern women have been groomed, and some would even say poisoned, to become the surrogate men of their own dreams, instead of being taught soft power or how to better complement the masculine divine. And sadly, this mindset grooming has set up millions upon millions of women to have a very repressed, a very disconnected, a very manly, and a very suffocated feminine divine, which is why there are currently thousands of anxious and depressed modern women today on TikTok and social media who are currently panicking and freaking out and having meltdowns, and who have been outright expressing their misery as it relates to the grooming of the go, 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 get it done yesterday girl boss culture. But because of the femininity movement, hordes of women of all nationalities are now wanting periods of significant rest, and more than ever, they are desiring men who have a strong and healthy masculine foundation after decades of masculinity grooming and masculinity programming. Now, for a bit of house cleaning, if you are a proud modern woman who loves being a boss, who loves her independence, or if you are a woman who is a strong advocate for decentering men, and you are truly a woman who enjoys an extended lifestyle of being single, of being your own provider, or being child free, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But with all due respect, then more than likely this platform is not for you. And I know you masculinas like to tussle, but you can go argue with your shadow, because on this platform, we discuss all aspects of femininity and popular case studies, as the new feminine brand is about teaching women exactly how to attract and to sustain relationships with hypergamous providers. So now that you've been warned, and of course, many of you masculinas and dustianas will continue to ear hustle, so your feathers will be ruffled, but also as a reminder, I was motivated to start this channel for my younger viewers, my 25 and under viewers who don't have the feminine mentorship that I so desperately needed for myself when I was in my 20s. Because when I was in my 20s, I had to learn about my own feminine divine through a lot of very ugly trial and error and a lot of course correction, and I am still learning. But thankfully, I have been able to share my wisdom with millions of young women around the world, particularly Black women, as Black women, due to our unique historical blueprint, out of all women are most certainly groomed to become the men of their own dreams at the expense of their soft power and their feminine divine more than any other race of woman. Now, with the way that most modern women were groomed in the 90s with second and third wave feminism, most modern women were taught that success should only come from the hard work, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the muscle, and the elbow grease of becoming anything that a man can and should become. A businesswoman, a boss, a provider of herself without a man's influence or his help. And this narrative of being a breadwinner for yourself is especially true for many Black women. And to boot, Black women are commonly expected to be providers for their extended family members. So, as a standard, most Black women are groomed to be surrogates and substitutes for the masculine divine, whether a man is in the picture or not. Black culture at its core is very matriarchal, very female led, and very female dominated, which makes the narrative of becoming the man of your own dreams an expectation and a demand from both feminine leaning men and masculine women. And as a personal testimony, when I first became a stay at home wife, I literally had to flat out lie to all of my friends about it out of a fear that they would call me lazy or give me the stank evil eye. I was college educated. I have 3 college degrees, an associate's, a bachelor's, and a master's, and therefore I was expected to not only work as hard as my husband, but also to become his workplace and his career equal. And I was expected to become the man of my own dreams, even when I had a willing provider husband who was more than capable. My wobbly decision to become a stay-at-home wife and a homemaker, and let me just say that after all of that Joe colleging that I did, I desperately needed rest, but my decision to take that rest was shockingly met with a lot of pushback, a lot of resistance, and a lot of super aggressive hostility from Black women and judgment. And to boot, my decision became very isolating due to a lack of womanhood kindness and support. And every feminine woman who is either in my private group or who I have privately mentored has expressed going through this same isolating struggle and this same pushback from hateful, aggressive, and jealous masculinas. And as a isolated young lady, I had to find a new tribe until I created my own feminine tribe. And I had to learn how to become the feminine woman of my own dreams through a lot of trial and error, especially as a Black woman. As Black women are never expected to be married, and they are especially not expected to have provider husbands. And thankfully, I quietly resisted those masculine pressures. But the truth is, many women are pressured into becoming surrogate men by other women, especially other Black women. So here are 11 signs that a woman has been groomed to become the man of her own dreams. Number 11, starting with the influence of the 80s and the 90s, particularly with magazines like Cosmo, or for Black women, magazines like Essence. Essence magazine, at its circulation heyday, mainly celebrated and pedestalized Black women who led with their careers, whether as actresses, entertainers, entrepreneurship, or corporate boss baddies. These were the women who got the most praise and the most attention. And wherever praise and attention goes, influence will follow. In the late 80s and early 90s, there wasn't a little girl alive who didn't aspire to be the next Oprah Winfrey. And unfortunately for Essence magazine, there was very little to non-existent front and center content on hypergamy, femininity, softness, polarity, or affirming content on being a wife or a provider for a stay-at-home mother. Number 10, another form of this grooming, you were taught to never rely on a man for anything and to never expect anything out of a man. Most Black women are never taught to be receivers. They are taught to be go-getters and breadwinners, and they are taught to be self-made to the point where a man becomes obsolete. That is, until the babies come, and then all of a sudden, many Black women are unprepared for the sudden fallout that comes from being with a struggling man, or a man who doesn't understand the importance of having financial strength, because our masculine culture grooms us to do it all. Meanwhile, a man of any race or culture can smell when a woman has been taught to not need him. And guess what, ladies? The masculine divine needs to feel needed to be at his best. Moving on. Number 9. Another form of grooming is that the mere thought of taking a break, a vacation, a sabbatical, prioritizing rest will often be met with hostility, aggression, or accusations of being lazy. And this is especially true for Black women, as Black women are expected to have the workplace stamina and the endurance of their masculine counterparts. Number 8, another form of grooming is that the woman who is the man of her own dreams is typically expected to be the community band-aid. She's the fixer, the problem solver, the responsible one, the noisemaker, the boots to the ground activist, the community voice, or the social justice warrior that everyone can count and rely upon for masculine strength. Meanwhile, nobody cares if this masculine mascot drops dead from exhaustion, nor do they care if her candle is burnt at both ends of the stick. Number 7, Another common form of masculine grooming, you were inspired to become every woman. Remember that hit song Remake by Whitney Houston, I'm Every Woman, that became the Black woman's anthem, the modern woman's anthem in the 90s. The idea that Black women were created to be a beacon of strength and support for everyone at the sacrifice and the expense of herself became popularized and engineered by both magazines and music. But a feminine woman is not every woman. I repeat, a feminine woman is not every woman. She is a woman who is a lover over being a fighter, and she would never claim domineering masculine energy as a badge of honor. Women who become all things to everyone are typically very resentful, very bitter, they're exhausted, they're drained, and they are typically personally very unhappy because they are stretched to their limits, and the feminine divine can never be happy when her softness is completely abandoned. Number 6. Another form of this grooming is the role reversal of feminine men being attracted to masculine women. The women who are groomed to become the successful men of their own dreams would typically attract and sustain relationships with feminine men and men who have a weak masculine foundation, as they are drawn to women who can get it done like a moth to a flame. Feminine men are attracted to women who don't mind providing or doing all of the heavy lifting that is typically expected of the masculine divine. When a feminine man is around a woman who is the man of her own dreams, he knows that he will always have security and that he will never starve. That is until he gets tired of the lack of respect or being emasculated, which would typically happen when a man is a feminine mouse in his marriage. Number 5, ladies, when you are groomed to be the man of your own dreams, you typically will lack feminine energy. This one's a no-brainer, as we are typically staring into the eyes of these kinds of depleted and drained women everywhere. The absence of sex appeal, relaxation energy, siren energy, soft power, feminine mystique, kind eyes, a kind heart, and or a strong absence of a ladylike presence are very common with women who are the men of their own dreams. Number 4, the woman of her own dreams will always lack a ton of feminine skill sets.
I'm not playing with you. I want my eggs cracked, meaning I want a child. I want my name dropped, meaning I want to be married. I'm not around with you.
There are many women who still believe that the only thing that is required to be feminine means having a vajayjay, and that they shouldn't have to do much else when it comes to attracting and sustaining relationships with quality men. Feminine skill sets such as vetting, practicing abstinence, social climbing with the Mrs. degree, taking a wellness bath, dressing the feminine part, emotional intelligence, cultural capital, understanding how men think and what they are attracted or devoted to in a woman are what most masculine women are lacking. Number 3, the woman who is the man of her own dreams wants respect over love and adoration. Just listen to the lyrics of Aretha Franklin's Respect. Now, of course, all women want respect and deserve respect, but the feminine divine wants adoration, devotion, and a man's financial investment in the form of a protector and a provider. Only masculine domineering women want respect over everything. Number 2, she truly is the man of her own dreams. This woman is her own provider, owns her own home, her own car, pays all of her own bills, pays all of her family's bills, is ambitious, and leads with her self-made independence and success as a proud badge of honor. And while you're in your 20s, this narrative of relentless drive can be cute and will get you lots of attention from other boss women. However, in your 30s, being the man of your own dreams will soon drain your feminine battery, and the visibility clout that comes with it starts to lose its luster due to burnout. And in your 40s and your 50s, you'll hate it here. And these are the women who typically email me when they're 35, 36, 42, and 54. And finally, the power of social engineering and grooming. If you are a woman over 35, then more than likely you were influenced by modern feminism and girl boss hustle culture, which touts having a career over everything. Now, I am not talking about first wave feminism when women were oppressed, second-class citizens who could legally get their heads knocked between a washer and a dryer by their godless husbands. That first wave of feminism was absolutely needed so that a woman could have options due to the common practices of male abuse. But the social engineering that was born out of the Mary Tyler Moore, the Dolly Parton 9 to 5, Cosmo magazine, Essence for Black women, that era completely erased the need for compatibility and harmony, which is often why our mothers and our grandmothers taught us to have such a flippant attitude about the importance of men in our lives as husbands, providers, and protectors. And I think I mentioned this in another video, but for a deeper dive on the topic of grooming, I highly recommend the feminine book club read, Subverted: How Women Were Engineered into Worshipping a Life of Emptiness. Now, if you want to turn this engineering around, the only solution obviously is to shift your mindset away from this grooming and to learn more about your feminine divine and to learn about how to have more harmony with the masculine divine instead of focusing on all of the trashy, gender warring, pointing fingers like children content that has so many of you immature clowns and clownettes in a trance and a chokehold. So that is all that I have to say on this for now, and I hope that you learned something from this How Did We Get Here video, as it is very important for women to understand that how we are groomed and influenced will always impact our personal choices in ways that we could never imagine. And with that, I will play you this video clip that you all can respond and react to below in the comments. But as always, I thank you for listening, I thank you for watching, and I thank you for subscribing. And please share this video if you care to spread the word and to further grow our feminine community. And please stay tuned for more videos to come, and I will catch up with you ladies and lurkers and ear hustlers in the next one.
Man, I feel lied to by the culture. But I'm gonna take full responsibility there, man. I fell for it. I fell for the boss bitch, the like, I could do everything by myself, that hyper independent bullshit. And I'm 31 now, and I still don't have kids. I still don't have a family. I was focused on trying to get after the bag and all this. Yo, what? I'm in a place now in my life where I'm reevaluating everything. My values, my perspectives, what I really want in the future. And what I really want is a family. I feel like social media or just everything around us, society in general, wants to push that the woman is the future. No, the family is the future.